Coast to Coast, and we're waiting on our first guest. And when we get our first guest, we'll go on the air. So, well, we're already on the air. We'll go on the air with him. That's, I think, what I meant. Once again, just to go back, it's funny how you never know how something's going to hit you. And I bring it because, like, with my my football and my baseball team moving, my football team moved, and I stayed completely loyal to them, although I really, they're not appointment TV where, I'm out of market now, being that they are a team that plays in a different state. And the game is, I'd say 50% of the time on the area. Raider games are on 50% of the time. And so I don't move heaven and earth to try to see them, at least not last season, because they were so just, they're such a joke. 9 games in a row. I mean, they were pathetic. And then my baseball team, which I love, I didn't watch one single solitary game last year. I was at my brother's house, and he had them on, and I watched about 2 innings. And that was it. I'd look at the highlights sometimes, and I was, excited about Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson and Tyler Soderstrom and these guys. And so I'm a little surprised that I'm so, and, I had the Oakland Ballers, which, they don't even get started until mid-May. So that's 6 weeks into baseball season for the pros. And so, as I said, you never know how something's going to hit you. And yesterday, when Alyssa Liu won gold medal, first I did, I knew who she was, but I didn't really know who she was. So I watched her 60 Minutes interview and saw that, a world champion at 13 and then at 14, and then COVID hit, and she went to the Olympics and finished 6th, and she was 16, and she's like, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Tired, decided to come back at 18, and skates with a joy and a confidence. I don't know what the word is, and it's not like, because some people are like, oh, she's a I don't give a F. She's not that. She does. She's there with her hand over her heart during the national anthem, and she's not an iconoclast. She's not rude. She doesn't say, F America or anything like that. She's an artistic person. She's her own person. Her hairstyle has never been seen before, and I bet you it's going to explode worldwide now that she calls it the rings of the tree. But you talk about a likability factor. And I'm sure the people that didn't like her saying that's what I'm effing talking about, and she self-pierced the little arrows on her teeth. She's an American girl, and the team spirit and the sportsmanship with her fellow skaters, and then the skaters from the other country, the 2 Japanese girls, Kaori and Ami, forget their last names. Kaori and Ami, they were like friends forever, and they were doing heart poses and selfies. And when Ami finished 3rd, and she started to cry, and Alyssa Liu ran over, picked her up. Alyssa Liu, when she won the championship, was 4'7". She shot up 7 inches. She's now 5'2". So you can just imagine how little that Japanese skater, first name Ami, is that Alyssa Liu looked way bigger at 5'2". But I don't think I've ever seen, off the top of my head, someone do a world-class gold medal winning, or whatever, World Series winning, Stanley Cup winning, Super Bowl winning, with almost like not a care in the world. Just, I'm so happy to be out here. And she said, I didn't need the medal, not to be a jerk, but not like, she goes, I still get to wear this dress. I still get to perform. Just the little things. It's not fake. Now, everybody has to politicize everything, so they start comparing Eileen Gu to Alyssa Liu. And I have nothing against Eileen Gu. But they're like, oh, that's how you do it when you're Chinese American. And Eileen Gu, of course, she's gorgeous and she's a model and she is an amazing athlete but it's the whole likability thing. I think I can see why people don't like Eileen Gu, and to me it has nothing to do with her picking China. She's just, I don't know, maybe she's a little smug, and I didn't really mind her snapping at the reporter who said, oh, you had to settle for 2 silvers, and she went, ha, 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 ha. Do you know how hard it is to win medals? I have 5 now. I'm doing things no one has ever seen before, so you're making me laugh. And like, oh, she went to Stanford, and it's easy to hate people from Stanford, and she went to this super rich high school in San Francisco that only rich nerds go to. I know a rich nerd that went there. Bailey, huh? University, huh? Just kidding. And so you say, oh, Stanford girl turned her back in America. Meanwhile, Alyssa Liu standing there. Alyssa Liu just, it hit me. I was almost teary-eyed. I really was. I was choked up because I was born in Richmond, and I went to junior high in Richmond, and I went to high school in Richmond, and I coached Richmond athletes for 3 years playing football. And nobody moves to Richmond on purpose. You're just from there, or you kind of have to move there because that's where you can afford a house, and the ethnicity and the diversity. And then finding out about her dad having all these kids. His wife, I guess, couldn't have kids, so he had anonymous egg donors. And so Alyssa Liu, who's half white, doesn't know who her mom is, at least her biological mom. But what a story. The guy leaves China at 25, chased away from the Tiananmen Square protests, comes here, turns himself into a lawyer, and then is kind of a robo-dad. He said he spent $500,000 on her coaches, and he went to the Oakland rink, and he saw the coaches just standing around, so he fired them. But he said, he pushed her and pushed her, but she still loves her dad. She loves her dad. She said he's a great dad. So there's none of this F America, F my dad, F whatever. She's an American 20-year-old girl from the Bay Area who's artistic. She's got crazy hair and weird pierced teeth things, whatever. But she seems, like I said, the likability is through the roof. And then once again, just going back to thinking that I share so much in common with her about just the way where we grew up and just the normal things that we do. The same stores, AC Transit, BART. Now we had completely different familial backgrounds, but it's just hard for me to believe. It's kind of like when, Kamala Harris, there's a woman from Oakland who's vice president. This hit me way harder than that there's a girl from Richmond, and Richmond gets no love. And a lot of times it doesn't deserve any love. And skating for Oakland, it's like me. I'm from Richmond, but I rep Oakland. I've lived in 2 different houses in Oakland. And now she's America's darling, and everyone's glomming in, even like the Big Ten. Hey, she's from UCLA. It's everybody's glomming on, and why not? Everybody's welcome to the party. All right, well, come on back with actress Laura Dunagan on the other side.
Like the legend of the Phoenix, all ends with beginnings. What keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call, regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work. Real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Look at me. Look at me. Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the fat-ass losers or freaks. You look at me!
Rick Tittle will fight anyone listening to this.
Oh, not so fast. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome to the show the lovely and talented actress Lauren Dunagan. She is part of a new play, a comedy called After Happy. Welcome to the Pirate Festival. This is running until March 29th. And this is written by Patricia Milton and directed by Gary Graves. And a limited engagement at the Central Works Writers Workshop. Lauren, welcome to the show. And as a veteran of stage and screen, After Happy, welcome to the Pirate Festival. This can go many ways. What is the deal with this?
Hi, pleasure to be here. Well, it is a comedy for sure, but it is a dark comedy. So it does take place around a pirate festival in Lake Charles, Louisiana. But as you can imagine, there are a few plot twists around piracy and the situation with the festival impending.
So tell us about your role, please. What do you do?
Sure. So I play Kat, who is sort of the wayward niece of Brenda Barrow, in whose home the play takes place. She's been missing for about a year, and she turns up very early in the morning with a proposal for her Aunt Brenda, who is the owner of a small oil company called Noble Oil. And she's a bit of a squirrely character, hard to pin down. You have a sense maybe she's not quite being honest about her intentions, but giving away too much. You'll have to come see the play to happen.
This is at the City Club in Berkeley over on Durant by campus. So just looking at looking at the blurb about a last-minute replacement for the festival's Pirate Queen. Tell us a little bit more about that. What's that all about, Lauren?
Well, so Brenda, who is the aforementioned owner of Noble Oil, is organizing this pirate festival, and it's very important to her to have a pirate queen on one of the floats in the parade. Apparently, this is a very important figure to the festival, but her pirate queen has had an emergency and can no longer take on the duties. So Brenda is in a panic about how to get a last-minute replacement, and there are many options explored, and at the last minute, a friend of Kat's, Brenda's niece, my character, shows up at the door very mysteriously, and there's sort of a negotiation to potentially make this newcomer, Steph, take on the role of Pirate Queen. And there are, of course, lots of exciting pirate costumes and paraphernalia that are required for this for this duty.
Very good. So, what's funny is that they sent me, and I had never seen this before, the Backstage.com sort of resume for you. And it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Because, athletes have the whole thing, height, weight, whatever, but it gets into ethnicity and what you can play and what you can't play. And I was just looking at some of your spots, and I'm looking at your range. You played an Indian woman named Saraswati. That's some range there.
Yeah, what was funny about that one is Saraswati is a goddess, a Hindu goddess, and she has, in a lot of depictions of her, she has 4 arms. So I played her voice and second pair of arms, whereas an Indian woman played her face and her other pair of arms. So it wasn't quite culturally appropriative as one might imagine.
Now, as a kid, I was in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I still remember my lines as Bottom in the play within the play. But I saw that you played Portia in Merchant of Venice. I mean, that's the main female protagonist. What was it like? Do those lines from Portia still ring through your head?
The quality of mercy is not strained. I think that's the only one I remember. But yeah, that was my first one of my first professional roles in my hometown in St. Louis. It was an amazing opportunity, and I was at a small theater called the New Jewish Theater, associated with the JCC. So, if you're familiar with the Merchant of Venice, it deals with Shylock, who's a Jewish man in ancient Venice, and he's typically the villain, but this was a very sympathetic Shylock. So it was a really cool production to be a part of. So
you came out here, Stanford and then UCLA, and you just said, I'm staying in California. This is where it's at for actresses and such.
Well, I mean, who could leave California once they move here? That's right. My feeling. But I did my graduate work at UCLA, and then we just love the Bay Area, my partner and I. So we always wanted to find a way to get back here, and luckily we did, and started a family. And then I was able, kind of right after the pandemic, to start acting again, and just feeling my way around the Bay Area and getting to know the community here.
That's awesome. If you could, we'll get back to the play in a second, but you played the lead in a movie called Cherry Pie. What was that?
No, that was a student film.
Oh, okay.
That was, oh my gosh. Yeah, with Chapman students. I did a lot of student films when I was right out of undergrad, living in LA, just to get some experience on camera. Although I am really a theater person at heart, I'm not made for the screen, I don't think.
Well, when I talk about range, I mean it's one thing to play Shakespeare, and it's another thing to play a comedic one like this. And comic timing is not something that comes naturally to some people. So how fun is it to go from Portia to playing something like this, where you're just having a blast? I would imagine.
Oh, it's so fun. It's such a gift, And Patricia Milton, the playwright, is just an amazing comedic writer. She's got just fabulous comedy driven by character and also just wonderful one-liners and jokes. So getting to deliver her lines is an absolute treat. And I've been lucky enough to be in 2 of her plays. The last one I played a Victorian English woman detective. So this is quite a departure from that. But the comedy remains. And, comedy is just, it's so fun as an actor because the feedback you get from the audience is wonderful. It's great to enable people to have a good time and to laugh. And this is a dark comedy for sure. There's going to be laughs and there's going to be some moments that are not quite as fun. But I think the comedy makes it, sort of bearable. You gotta laugh. The play is more about climate change than it is about pirates. So that's where the heaviness comes in.
Yeah, not a lot of ships and swords, probably. Yeah.
No,
last
sadly no.
Last question for you: how playful can you get with the script and ad-libbing, or do you kind of keep it on the rails?
Gotta keep it on the rails because the playwright's right there in the room. Patricia she is part of the process all the way along, and so Central Works, is a theater that only does new work, and so the primary responsibility is really to the playwright and making sure that you get their words out. And so we try our best to be word perfect. We'll have a stage manager on book who gives us line notes, and if we mess up just one word, we've got to know that we did that and change it up.
CentralWorks.org. They are the new play theater. CentralWorks.org for tickets. After Happy, and we've been speaking with Lauren Dunagan. Lauren, a pleasure having you on. Have fun with it, and let's catch up down the road.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And she was pretty funny with, yeah, that's all I remember. When you do Shakespeare, I am not a professional actor. I just remember, and I was in the 8th grade, and how hard those lines were. And there'd be an entire page and a half, like maybe 40 straight lines. And it was like script that you weren't, it wasn't like saying, oh, yeah, I went to the game and I caught a foul ball. And it was, oh, wherefore, nature, didst thou lion's frame, since lion vile hath here deflowered, my dear. I mean, it goes, they're all still in my head. So anyway, she's just playing around. So, yeah, the City Club is a really nice venue at Cal as well. We'll take a break, and we will come back, and we will talk to an author, King of the Britons, next on Titillating Sports.
What's that on that beat? Ho. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Middle finger up to my competition.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with SportsBettingClaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at SportsBettingClaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. SportsBettingClaim.com.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
If you're thinking about calling Rick Tittle, just put down that phone and shut your ugly face.
Lots of entertainment here in hour number one, except for the first guy who didn't show up. And we're waiting for the next guest to show up. And when we have her, we'll put her on the air as well. Michaela Schifrin had a very almost tear-jerking press conference to watch as well after she won the gold medal. And I'll get to that in a minute, but we have found our guests. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure now to be joined by author Deborah Goodrich Royce. Her new novel from Post Hill Press is entitled Best Boy. And Lisa Unger from New York Times, a best-selling author, said, a breathless and engrossing must-read about the lies we tell each other and ourselves. Don't miss it. Deborah, welcome to the show. And, you know, Best Boy, I think most of us, you know, equate that with the credits of a film, you know, maybe the gopher, the gaffer, the kid. Best Boy, as far as this novel goes, why was that the title?
Good morning, Rick, and thank you. That is the question, and that was really the genesis of the book. So I was an actress in an earlier life, and one day a couple of years ago I got an email from a man asking if I remembered him, saying he was my best boy on a film I did, and I did not remember him. And he went on to share a few touch points of our shared experience together. And he culminated it by saying, do you remember when we ran into each other at the Cannes Film Festival and you were holding a baby and waving at me, and I wondered for a moment if the child was mine.
Oh, my gosh.
At which point I fell off my chair, and in the real story, he did go on to say, but of course, that would not have been possible, which was a great relief to know that I hadn't completely blocked out a relationship of that significance. But it got me thinking about this idea of memory, and we are, in so many ways, our brains. That's really kind of the ground zero of who we are, what we know, what we remember, what we can think about. And I thought, well, what if you have a woman who has a flawed memory, and what if you have a man who reaches out to her similarly, and she doesn't remember him, but what if he's telling the truth? But then again, what if he's lying? What does he want? And that became the germ of the book.
Yes, that is a great way of putting it, and it is human nature for us, if we can, to consciously or subconsciously push back bad times, bad memories, and things like that. And plus, and I'm not accusing you of this, obviously, but if you are someone who is promiscuous or maybe inebriated, stuff like that can happen. You remember when we hooked up, and it's like, I've never seen you before in my life, and it's like, well, would you like to see the pictures? And it's like, wait, what? So maybe that hits home with a lot of people.
Well, I think it does. I think young people are very vulnerable now, and this book, Best Boy Begins, and this is no spoiler, in the prologue, the character, her name as a girl is Ingrid. She changes it later. She wakes up in the hospital. She's a high school senior. She's been at a Halloween party, and she has been the victim of an assault, and she has no memory of it. And this is kind of the core secret and source of shame in her life, and in many ways guilt, rightly or wrongly placed. We are complex creatures, and our reaction when things happen to us, our reactions are not always straightforward, nor are anyone else's, really.
And then it's interesting about, it says the lives we tell ourselves, that especially if we do it enough times, it becomes reality, and maybe it becomes a real memory and something that never happened.
Do you know I knew someone like that once? I'm so glad you brought that up. It was fascinating watching her. She was a work colleague, and I think she did believe the things she would say. She would talk about things that happened in a work context, and it was a little crazy-making because she said them with such utter conviction that, other people would think, but I can only think she convinced herself of certain things. Very strange. But I think that happens.
So when the guy talked about seeing you at Con and saying maybe the baby was mine, for a millisecond, did you think, uh-oh, did I do something and repress it, or did you just immediately laugh it off?
Of course I thought that. I thought, what am I forgetting? And I'll tell you why. Because when my younger daughter was a baby, recently I was looking at pictures of her first birthday, and she's in her 30s. And there's a person at this birthday party, a woman, who's holding the baby at one point, who's talking to me at another point in a picture, who has a plate of cake in another picture. I would swear to you, under threat of going to jail for perjury in a court of law, I'd never seen this woman before in my life. Now, how could that be? How did she get into all these pictures? I mean, who was she? So I think it happens.
Well, for me, and I played college football. I like to blame CTE or all the concussions, but there was a guy a few years ago, and I've been in broadcasting over 30 years, but there was a guy a few years ago, and I was at a Golden State Warriors game. We're in the media room, and this young guy came in, and he's like, oh my gosh, Rick Tittle. He gave me my start. He put me on the air. He was the first guy to put me on the air. I was his intern. I can't thank you enough. He left. I've never seen that person before in my life. I would have sworn.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like like an a-hole, but I'm not. I mean, obviously was very nice to him, but why in a million years did I not remember him? And so that's why I guess it does give you a little pause, like, hey, is that my baby?
Totally. I think we're not unique in these things happening, and I wanted to explore that. My character does have a flawed memory. She's plagued with very severe migraines, ocular migraines, and brief lapses in consciousness, sometimes with a migraine. So she has many holes in her memory due to that, but nothing of the magnitude ever that this man is suggesting about having a whole relationship over a period of time. But she does question herself.
Now, going from strength to strength, you two very successful books before this one. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Deer Mountain Writers Retreat, Deborah?
Oh, yes. So my husband and I have done a lot of restoration projects. This is a passion of ours. And we restored a beautiful inn in the Catskill Mountains near the town of Tannersville, which, if people don't know where that is, it's about 2 hours northwest of New York City. Very pretty area. And there was a period a few years back where I was really struggling to find a place and time to write a project that I was working on. My mother had just died. I'd been on book tour. I was feeling very tapped out. And two other writers and I started this retreat, and it's really 1 week of writers getting together, Sunday to Friday, so it's not even a whole week, of just writing all day, every day, all by your lonesome, breakfast delivered, lunch delivered, and then getting together each evening for dinner and conversation, but no pressure to put on a show or give a workshop or teach or do anything but write.
That's very cool. I know you're a roadie, and I know that roadies really don't like being called being from Massachusetts. I know you guys don't like that comparison. It's a completely different state. But I wanted to throw this at you just because I was in Providence for my one and only time a couple of years ago, and I went into a bar in the downtown area called the Wild Colonial. And for a guy from California, that was a real treat because it looked like a 300-year-old building. And you ever been to the Wild Colonial?
I have not, but it's only 45 minutes from Watch Hill. I'm going to have to go there.
All right, and then also...
I like the name.
Yeah, it's a really cool old building, old brick building. And in fact, when I was in there, I got a beer from the Von Trapps, who I always thought was just fictional from, Sound of Music. I didn't know that was an actual real brewery, the Von Trapps. But
and they have an inn up in Stowe, Vermont, the Von Trapp family. I've been there.
Yeah, I had no idea. So for you now, Best Boy has, Netflix 6-part series written over it. Have you already been approached for screenplay rights?
Not on this one yet. I've had 2 other books optioned. One was very promising, a big actress attached, Gillian Anderson. It was so, all teed up to go and then didn't. And another one is there's been a screenplay written and it's moving along. So I don't hold my breath on that one because there's so much out of your control with the development and the making of a movie.
Well, make sure to, insert yourself with your old acting chops. You can play somebody for 2 minutes, right?
That's hilarious. I like Hitchcock, the way he always appears walking in the background.
Sure. M. Night, throw yourself walking onto a bus like Hitchcock, something like that. All right, everybody, pick this up. It's going to be a big hit. Best Boy, a novel by our guest, Deborah Goodrich Royce, available from Post Hill Press. Deborah, a real pleasure having you on, and let's catch up on your next effort.
Thank you very much.
All righty, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a break, and we'll come on back on Byline.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside my trunk? My hump, my lovely lady hump.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means. It's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Get the people going.
Rick Tittle's got a belt in keeping it real.
All right, thank you for that. And as a reminder that in other countries, they're not as, I don't want to say, politically correct, compassionate, modern, whatever word you want to use, agree or disagree. But there was a big deal the other day in the Europa League with Real Madrid, or Champions League, I should say, with Real Madrid and Benfica and Lisbon. And Prestiani, the Argentine player, apparently put the shirt over his mouth and said monkey to Vinicius Jr., who's Brazilian and Vinny ran over and told the ref. And there's no way to prove it because he had his shirt pulled over his mouth. Well, anyway, I bring it up because Jose Luis Chilavert, he's the Paraguayan footballing legend. He was the goalkeeper who scored more goals than anybody. He would come up on corners and score. He would take all the penalties for the Paraguayan national team. And Kylian Mbappe, the course, the French star and teammate of Vinny with Real Madrid, he was very much vocal. I said, you are a racist to Prestiani. But anyway, Chilavert on Paraguayan TV chimed in on this, the soccer legend. He said, I stand in solidarity with Prestiani. Mbappe talks about values, but what can he talk about? He lives with a transvestite. That's not normal. It's not normal to live with a transvestite. That's what women are for. And what are they going to sanction Prestiani? They do. They're giving grounds for the gay community to be the example to follow. No, that's wrong. In football, men play. In the past, we called each other with every insult. Ever since they put in the microphones and videos, football has become gay. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing with my Bay Area sensibilities that there are still people who stay. But you know what? As an American for free speech, he has every right to say that. We don't have to agree with him, and we can say that that's pretty ignorant and unfeeling. And I will say, you know, getting upset about what someone calls you, if they call you a dumb mother F or whatever, but if you're of African heritage and someone calls you monkey, that's not just an insult. That goes way beyond that. But anyway, Jose Luis Chilavert, go Paraguay. We got two more. Come on back.
Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. And I gotta say, Filthy Tom Lawler's done a wonderful job filling in for Brian Alvarez this past week on Wrestling Observer Live. Now, I'm a little biased because I consider Tom a friend, but he's done a great job. And I guarantee you, from what I know, a movie about that man's life would be a true piece of art. Which leads me to this past Sunday, when I saw for the first time The Smashing Machine. I'll assume you've all heard of this movie, which debuted last October. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as former mixed martial artist Mark Kerr, Emily Blunt as his girlfriend Dawn, and Boss Rutan as Boss Rutan. I went out of college visit with my kid and utilized the free HBO Max gimmick at the Marriott. And I'll also say this. The Smashing Machine was not as disturbing as Chernobyl: The Lost Tapes, which I also watched. But it was odd. I don't know. I almost never watch movies, so my knowledge of what's supposed to be good or bad is as limited as it gets. In fact, I think the last movie I watched in full was The Iron Claw about the Von Erich family, which I did think was the best movie based on pro wrestling I've ever seen. Aesthetically, for the most part, I thought The Smashing Machine looked and sounded really good. The use of sound as the mood of a scene began to change was cool, as was the diversity of the soundtrack. Same goes for the colors and how the movie was shot. Unfortunately, Johnson's makeup and attempt at mimicking Kerr's unique lispy speaking voice felt much more like parody than acting. And how the story was told was odd to me as well. For the most part, the movie recreated much of the original documentary itself, but then there were moments that just juxtaposed it completely, such as Rutan being injected with pain medication by her after suffering an injury during training. As someone who watched the original 2002 HBO Smashing Machine documentary that the movie is based on, and followed the sensation of mixed martial arts in Japan in real time, I believe the movie missed the mark in many ways. The biggest to me was explaining anything about Mark Kerr's background and what made him the person we were seeing on the screen. Conversely, one thing the film did get right was the portrayal of Mark Coleman, played by Ryan Bader, whose more intriguing life and humble persona takes over the movie the same way it took over the documentary. So all in all, I guess a thumbs down when it comes.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families with insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of it. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today. Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott shows the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Let's be honest. Most businesses don't struggle because demand is low. They struggle because their back end can't handle growth. Leads come in, but follow-up is slow. Calls get missed. Appointments don't get confirmed. And everything lives in different places. So even when marketing works, revenue doesn't scale. That's a system problem. Create Assistance fixes this by building a done-for-you CRM and automation system that captures every lead, follows up automatically, confirms appointments, and keeps everything organized in one place. And only after that foundation is built, AI voice and chat employees get it. If your business feels chaotic behind the scenes, it's time to fix it back in. Visit createassistance.ai and book your call today. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sport.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that. Welcome back. Adam Conover standing by to come in studio. He's going to be doing stand-up at the Punchline this weekend. Nice to have you with us wherever you are listening in this great land of ours and okay foreign lands. You know, I was talking to a friend about Sacramento State football moving up to FBS and actually joining the MAC. Yes. The MAC. Can you believe that? They're going to be in the Mid-American Conference. Well, think about this. You got the Atlantic Coast Conference with Cal and Stanford, the Big Ten with UCLA and USC, the Mountain West with San Jose State, the Pac-12 now with Fresno State and San Diego State. So coming up this year, California's FBS football teams will play conference opponents in 31 different states. The record before that for California schools was 21 states. So 7 teams from Ohio, 5 in Michigan, 4 in North Carolina, 3 in Texas, 3 in Indiana, 3 in Illinois, 2 in Massachusetts, 2 in Pennsylvania, 2 in Florida, 1 in Wyoming, 1 in North Dakota for California teams. You got to go where the money is. It used to be back in the day that the money was here, but apparently not anymore. All right, 1-800-878-PLAY is the number to call, 1-800-878-7529. If you want to tweet at me, it is at Rick Tittles. I enunciate my T's. Emails rick@sportsbyline.com as well, and twitch.tv, and we'll get the 2 cameras going here because Adam Conover will be stepping in. Actually, the 2 cameras aren't working right now. Well, I'll put the 1 camera on him. All right, let's do that. If you want to call in, it's 1-800-878-PLAY. Emails rick@sportsbyline.com. Yeah, only 1 camera works. That's all right. I'll put it on him. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
One day only Thanksgiving Day deals are coming to Lowe's.com. Plus, members get early access to online Black Friday doorbuster deals on gifting favorites, like the still trending Cobalt Mini Toolbox for just $14.98. Don't miss up to 50% off for one day only at Lowe's.com. We help, you save. Valid 11/27 only on Lowe's.com. Member only doorbusters and midnight Eastern. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change while supplies last.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busy work. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Hour 2 of titillating sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of Titillating Sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
All right, thanks for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. And you know what a comedy nerd I am, and over the past 20-plus years interviewing the comedians when they come into town. We're very excited to have, for the first time, you can see him on the Twitch.tv and YouTube cameras, Adam Conover, who's headlining the Punchline. He had a show last night. He's got 2 tonight and 2 tomorrow. Adam, welcome to the show. And for me, the Punchline, you know, I sound like a comedian when I say it's my hometown club, but that was the first one I went to in the 80s, and it's still there. And I think about Chappelle, even though he's a D.C. guy, he started there, and Robin Williams and Dana Carvey. It's the perfect height, ceiling, and the crowd. I mean, what's it like to be on that stage?
Yo, my first time on the stage yesterday, actually, and it was, it's such a beautiful room. It's like the laughs bounce around. You're right in the middle of it. You know, people are excited to be there. It's just the right amount of dingy and grimy, but the food is good. The drinks are good. The comedy is good. It's a great spot. You know what's really funny is I'm taping the hour that I'm doing in Chicago in 2 months, April 18th at the Den Theater. We were originally going to shoot it at the Punchline this weekend, and we ended up, scoping out the venue. I was like, it's, historic. It's a beautiful club. I'm doing a club hour. I want to represent that. I sent my producer to scout it, and he said, we're not going to be able to shoot it the way you want to. Because I want to shoot it nice. A lot of people just point a camera at it, and they call it a special nowadays, and they just throw it up on YouTube. I'm like, I want to make it look nice. I want to make the venue look good. And said it's actually not going to work because the size of the venue is such that we'd have to put the video village outside. We'd have to get the permission of the venue, of the building, to do that. And we're not going to be able to get permission from the building because the building is feuding with the Punchline because the building wants the Punchline out so they can replace it with a Google cafeteria. That's what they told me. And I was like, that's horrifying. Let's not cause any trouble and let's do it somewhere else. But like the idea that a gorgeous historic club like that would be, that's how much the tech industry is swallowing every bit of humanity, that the building would rather replace a historic club like that with a place where Google employees can like eat free salad.
Well, it is scary because they basically announced, I guess it was maybe just before the pandemic, that it was closing and Google was taking it.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they were going to have, and so Chappelle came out, W. Kamau Bell, a lot of the local guys. There was such a protest that they were like, okay, fine, you can keep it. I didn't know it might still be on a back burner.
I mean, maybe this is what the management said, so maybe they were just referring to the old conflict and that, and now that you mention it, I do remember hearing about all of that now from LA. It's the kind of, when you're there, you're like, American culture is clinging on by a thread, and this is one of the threads,
Now, you're an East Coast guy originally, right?
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island. I spent my first 10 years of my career in New York, yeah.
Did you, I love going to New York with those 3 clubs there on McDougal and 4th, whatever it is, the VU and the Cellar, how they all connect, Fat Black. I love going there and Stand-Up New York and the Strip and Gotham and all that. Did you get wrecked and pass by Esty and Liz and all that and go through all that?
No, none of that, man, actually. None of that at all. So when I was in New York, it was during the sort of tail end of what we called the alt scene in New York at the time. And so all the comics I was literally with the cohort of comics who none of us could get past or even hang at the clubs. And so none of us even tried. So I was at UCB. I was at the Creek and the Cave.
Yeah.
It was all like
Bell House.
Yep, exactly. Union Hall.
Eugene Merman's basement.
Eugene Merman was like, he was the last guy. There was this, Rafifi, invite them up. Yeah. I was very happy. My sketch comedy group that I moved to New York with, a group called Old English, we performed at one of the very last Invite Them Ups, which is a classic, very important show in New York. Before that show ended and a bunch of that scene moved to LA. And so a lot of us in the scene I was in were actually, we were almost like intimidated by those clubs. Because those clubs also, they have sort of a gatekeeping mentality.
Sure.
They're like, oh, we're such a big deal. You have to prove you're a real comic. And a lot of us were like, fuck that. Like, we don't need that. Oh, excuse me.
We just lost the Salt Lake City affiliate.
I apologize.
That's all right.
I've been on, you said Twitch.
Listen, I don't blame you. People are so used to podcasts.
Yep.
This is actual real radio. So
oh my God! And I'm so delighted to be on the real, to be on Brendan Carr's radio, FCC, and I love the federal government. And what they're doing right now with the ICE agents is so good for the country.
I saw your video, by the way, about you said you were doom scrolling after the 2 murders in Minnesota. And
right? We did. I mean, it was horrifying. You know what was crazy about that? If you don't mind my digressing,
please.
Is when they murdered Alex Preddy. That morning, for some reason, was the same morning I was watching the first season finale of The Pit, and the fact that simultaneously, if you haven't seen that show, it's about I
interviewed every actor on that show.
What an incredible show, right? But the end of that season is brutal. There's a mass shooting. There's like characters getting injured, and it ends with these, ER doctors being like, God, the death we see every day, and I don't know if I can come back here tomorrow. And I'm watching that and scrolling on my phone. They murdered an ICU nurse who looks shockingly like Noah Wiley on that show. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be glib. I'm like, they killed Dr. Robbie, and the amount of just, I was feeling the amount of like depression and devastation about what was going on in the country. Now, the episode of my YouTube series we ended up doing about that was about the incredible response from the people of Minneapolis about how they didn't let it stop them or keep them down, and in fact they fought back so thoroughly they caused the Trump administration to like freak out and turn heel and run, which was wonderful. But yeah, it's a rough time in America right now.
What would you say, too, because Dana Gould is actually, I like saying, a friend of mine, and he's very much on the left, and he'll use his platform, as you do, because it's like, well, I have eyeballs on me, I'd like to say what I feel about this. That's not comedy.
Yeah.
And then you have guys like Seinfeld, it says, it has to be comedy 24/7, no one cares what you think, liberal or conservative. So do you ever wonder, like, I don't want to be too... go too far away from comedy, or you're like, oh, hell no, while people are listening to me, I have to say this?
I mean, my career, the only success I've had is because I've said something in addition to being funny. And what I always used to say about, developing my old show, Adam Ruins Everything, and the sort of like, style that I have is starting in New York and, doing 3 open mics a night, and then eventually 3 booked shows a night and trying to get attention. After a while, you're like, I can make people laugh. How do I make them remember me later? How do I make them give a crap, right? And so I used to like, the thing that started working for me was telling people things I had learned and like sort of revealing the hidden systems behind why the world is so messed up. And so when people come see me, at the Punchline, they're like laughing, oh my God, the show was so funny. Hey, you know why it came out as this video that you made 7 years ago? Opened my eyes to XYZ, and I show it in my classes. People say stuff like that to me. About the information that we've relayed, or the important topics. And so that is a way of, I see comedy as a vehicle that you can use to say other things that people actually care about, sometimes more than the thing that makes them laugh, and you can combine those things, and I think it's valuable. Now, I think there's many comedians who just want to be funny and just want to be a release for people, and that can be very valid. I think of like Brian Regan as a wonderful comic who
love him.
Who's that way. He's so wonderful, and that's not what he wants to talk about, and that's fine. Now, I did once see Brian Regan do a special. It was post-Trump the first time, and he opens the special by going like, "What? Politics is so. Can we just calm down? Like, can we just enjoy the barbecue? Like, everybody's so mad." And I was like, dude, if you're gonna get into it, have a point of view. You're a human being on Earth. You're not watching the news and going like, oh, geez, sure is kind of intense. I don't know who I believe, right? No, you have a point of view. Say it or don't. You know what I mean? And I love him. I'm not going in on him, right? That was an observation I had watching that material. That didn't work. That makes nobody happy, right? I know you got to play to Mormons and to liberals, right? But don't like expose the stuff on which they disagree. Now Seinfeld, I'll say specifically, he seems like the kind of guy, he's so rich he truly doesn't care, and so when he's like, oh no, it's just comedy, I'm like, no, you're disconnected from reality, and that's your problem. So comics make their choices about how they get into these things, and all those choices are, well, they're not all valid. They all speak to something about the person, right? And so some people, I think, do it in a way where they're like, look, I don't get into it. I'm just a clown, and that's fine. And other people avoid it out of cowardice or out of disconnection, and that I have less respect for.
All right, very well said by Adam Conover. We'll take a quick break. We got another segment with him. He is the headliner at the Punchline here in San Francisco down on Battery Street. Come on back on Byline.
Strange ways coming today. I put $1 in my pocket and I threw it away. Been a long time since the federal dime made it.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
I gotta go to college. I gotta.
Danny, this isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Rick Tittle ain't the man, but Rick Tittle know who the man is, and he slapped his white fanny.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast around the world on American Forces Radio Network, 177 countries. Adam Conover, stand-up comedian. He is headlining the world-famous Punchline here down on Battery Street in San Francisco. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. We were just talking during the break about Adam being from Long Island, and I saw you went to Bard College.
Correct, yeah.
And that's up on the Hudson. And what's funny was when I was like in college myself, I always thought it had something to do with Shakespeare.
No,
but it's just the guy's name, right?
The name of the original guy was William Bard, I think is his name.
And Annandale?
Annandale on Hudson is the now that sounds very Shakespearean, right?
Right.
And I think you're onto something here.
Stratford upon Avon.
Yeah. A lot of people know Annandale just because it's a line in a Steely Dan song because they went to Bard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What other famous alums off the top of your head?
Chevy Chase. In fact, that new documentary about him on CNN has some photos of him at Bard.
You're right.
One of the Beastie Boys, I forget which one, or maybe 2, perhaps.
Jonah Hill, I'm looking now.
Jonah Hill, I didn't remember that one actually.
Mia Farrow.
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher Guest.
Christopher Guest was there for like a couple years.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
Chevy knew him.
Yep. And also Ronan Farrow, Mia's son. And then, you know what's really funny is, so Bard's currently in the news because the president of 50 Years is all over the Epstein files. He's in it thousands of times.
Is he really?
He is. And he says it's just about fundraising, which is like believable, except he's in there so much, you know. So it's the very least unseemly. Woody Allen also, it is revealed that Woody Allen asked Jeffrey Epstein to ask the president of the college to get his daughter with Sun Yi also into Bard, which is like
his daughter / wife.
It's a whole. No. Okay, it's a complicated family tree.
You mean Sun Yi's daughter?
Sun Yi's daughter also went to Bard,
Okay.
and Mia's daughter and Mia's son. It's a tangled web, you know, of everybody in that complicated family loves going to Bard College.
Wow. Well, when you were there, I'm looking at faculty: Sal Bello, Gore Vidal.
Oh yeah. They weren't not while I was there, but yeah,
Okay.
incredible faculty, incredible place to do mushrooms and read philosophy. Yeah. And boy, did I.
Did you live in Ward Manor?
No, no, I didn't. But I used to get really high there at 1 a.m. Yeah. That was like an old mansion on the Hudson, like gorgeous. You know, literally. So the whole campus is like 3 or 4 different like country estates of rich New Yorkers who built like these you know, and then they were all combined to the college, and then they just have, you know, like 19-year-olds living in sort of a Grey Gardens kind of situation, you know, just like a former beautiful mansion that's been converted into dorm housing.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. So what was because sometimes I'm surprised where these theater kind of kids come from, because like with Georgetown, with you know, Nick Kroll and Mulaney and Birbiglia. Like, I don't think of Georgetown as being that type of school. So what about the Bard scene with theater and sketch and all that?
Great question. Well, first of all, Bard really attracted, like, the idle children of the idle rich. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of, there are a lot of rich folks. My dad was a college professor, right? University professor, so we're sort of like upper middle class or whatever. There's a lot of richer people. But, like, a lot of kids who like don't know what else to do, you know, and they do a lot of drugs. You can study whatever you want, you know. It's a very rich, fertile environment, and so it ends up being a place where like, what are you going to do but make some art? So that's where I got started in comedy, because my friends were like, oh, let's start a comedy group, and we did, and there was like no other entertainment on campus, and you know, we figured out how to make the other college kids laugh, and you know, if you think of Chevy Chase, same sort of way, you get this air of him, of this sort of you know, like aristocracy gone to seed, kind of like what rich kid with nothing better to do with his time than like make jokes and smoke weed, right?
So how do you, I mean, I understand why you would move to LA, because that's where almost everything is going down, and you were on BoJack Horseman as well. Created by my friend who I went to Bard with, who was in my comedy group. Wow, very good. Yeah, it's funny, because Bard was on my mind. I just saw that Chevy Chase doc too, and I should have remembered that.
Isn't that doc funny? I thought it was really. We don't need to get into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember reading Live from New York and the whole thing with Terry Sweeney about where's the gay guy, you know, S my D, and it's like, why does he have to be like that? Like, what's wrong?
And what I thought was fascinating about the documentary was the documentary starts with the documentarian being like, I want to understand why this guy is like this. Why is this incredibly talented man, like prodigy, right? Incredibly talented man. Such a piece of crap. Why is he like this? And my disappointment about the documentary is they don't really get into it because you know what the problem is? They can't find anyone who's willing to talk on camera about what an a-hole he is. You know,
Aykroyd only praised him.
Exactly. And they're like, oh, Chevy, you know, he rubs people the wrong way. And so by the end, it ends up taking his perspective. He's like an old man. He's like, basically, he's disabled as one gets when one is that old. And so you end up feeling sorry for him. I'm like, no. I don't want to feel sorry for him. I was into a documentary that explored why this guy is such a jerk.
The thing is that the two times when you kind of saw it was when the old clip of a guy interviewing the Caddyshack people.
Yeah.
And he flashes on him. You like my shirt? Blah, 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 you dumb a-hole. And then when the interviewer that's making the film, he's like, well, you're not bright, and I'm deep, and you're not smart enough to understand me. And it's like, oh, it's those little flashes. And I understand when you're slapped, you want to hit back, but it's so unprovoked, some of this stuff.
No, he was just the kind of guy, he just like stick a knife between your ribs, you know? Like you're just talking to him and then he's like, cha, you know, and you're bleeding out. And you're like, what, why did he do this to me? Like that's who he was. And he's the kind of person, you know, he betrayed every person who ever loved him. He was horrible to all these wonderful people. You know, he quit SNL because he thought he was too good for it, you know?
1 year.
And now, at the end, he's like, why didn't they put me in the 50th anniversary? Well, first of all, because you can't walk or speak anymore. You were too old to be on camera, unfortunately. Like, you're an old man in a wheelchair. Like, that's why you couldn't do a sketch on SNL. Sorry you feel jilted. But also because everyone hates you because you've been horrible to everybody for 50 years. Like,
they keep people out of Hall of Fames for that, you know? And then you think, like, well, Billy Crystal didn't get to be on the show. There were too many people. And so, I think he was a little bit shocked by that. But that's the other thing, too, about, I think Jay Chandrasekhar, who actually was in here once as a stand-up, when he was talking about directing him on Community, he would kind of go like, well, there were a few times where Chevy's like, you're going to tell me about comedy? And I'm like, no, but I'll tell you about this scene, and you're doing it wrong, you know?
You know, it's funny because he was the only Chevy was so awful to people on Community famously, and Jay is the only guy that could get to talk about it. But I'm like, I don't want to make those other people talk about it. I'm interviewing Joel McHale on my podcast called Factually, available on YouTube everywhere else. I'm interviewing him on like Monday, and like I'm not going to ask him any Chevy Chase questions because you know what? I don't want. Why should that be what he has to talk about?
Right.
I want to have a friendly conversation. I don't want to be like, hey, how was an old man mean to you 12 years ago?
Like, by the way, we just have about a minute left. When I had Joel McHale,
I've been talking about myself, not about
I know. When I had Joel McHale on the show years ago, at the end he said, "Rick, we should hang out. Here's my number." Is that going to happen with us?
With you and me? It's going to happen with me and Joel. That guy's handsome, and he's a good hang. No, we can get together. What do you want to do? You want to get some noodles after this? What do you want to do? We're like near Chinatown.
You just threw out Joel McHale, and I was reminded of that story. All right, everybody get to the punchline. Do you know the feature and the opener?
Feature is my very good friend Sammy Mowry, who travels with me all around to open for me on the road. They're amazing, awesome comic. Look, let me just real quick pitch for the show. It's about my personal life. Went through a big breakup about a year ago. Show's about sex. It's about we start with politics. We get into sex. We get into masculinity. There's a lot of really bawdy material. People see a different side of me. I'm really excited to be touring the show, taping it in 2 months. Hope people come out and see it.
At the Den on April 18th.
And also between now and then, Sacramento, La Jolla, and Hartford, Connecticut. That's an interesting combo, right? We're doing all the beautiful California cities and then also Hartford, Connecticut. I'll see you out there.
Adam Conover, thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Pick up tickets at punchlinecomedy.com. Come on back.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. The America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work. Real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Kickboxing, that's my favorite sport. Kickboxing is great. When you think about it, it combines the style and grace of boxing with kicking.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me, mirror, what is wrong? Can it be my de la clothes or is it just my de la song? What I do ain't make-believe. People say I sit and try, but when it comes to being de la, it's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I.
Rick Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
Thanks for that, and welcome back to the show. And Adam also was a host of something called Adam Ruins Everything. And Bailey recognized him from that. I guess I was too old for that show. It was a good show, though, Bailey? He's like, yeah, I don't know. Isn't that the guy from the show? Yeah, what do you think of the show? I don't know. It's like, remember The Office, the British Office, when Tim was talking to Kevin and he's like, did you watch Peak Practice last night? He's like, no. He goes, it's a bloody rerun. He's like, well, why'd you watch it? And he goes, no, I didn't watch it. What? All right. Multiple sources with knowledge of the NBA's secret meeting yesterday have told ESPN that the concepts now tangibly to discuss curbing tanking in the NBA. Remember at the All-Star game that the commissioner, Mr. Adam Silver, said it's worse than ever, paraphrasing, but it's worse than ever, and we're going to do something about it. And we saw Utah get fined $500,000 and the Pacers get fined $100,000. So these are the 7 concepts that have been discussed to curb tanking. One is first-round draft picks can be protected only for top 4, not top 14. All right. Would that hurt? Would that help anything? Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline. So in other words, for the last 2 months of the season, sucking won't help you. Okay, but wouldn't that create abject tanking in the first 2/3 of the season? That makes no sense. You'd say, well, teams they'll, by the time they figure out they're no good, it's too late. Number 3, no longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 in consecutive years, even if they finish in the bottom 3 in consecutive years. Well, how would that have hurt Philadelphia last year, who tanked the last 6 weeks and then won the lottery, at least by getting to 3rd and getting B.J. Edgecombe, who they love now? Right? Number 4, teams can't pick in the top 4 the year after making the conference finals. Now, that's 90%, everybody got hurt, but when they get healthy, you're going to be good again. Or it's, we traded our pick to a good team from last year, and now they're going to get better. Number 5, lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Now, how would that possibly help? What if you want to suck for 2 years? Right? How about that? Number 6, lottery extended to include all play-in teams. So in other words, your odds of getting the top pick will go from 14% probably down to like 10. And then flatten odds for all lottery teams. That probably is the only good idea I have heard out of all of them. In other words, if you're in the lottery, 14 teams? If you're in the lottery, it's just like the very first lottery. Everybody's the same. And so sucking, you still could have the 14th pick. Like the very first lottery when it was 7 teams. And the Warriors were the worst team in basketball and didn't get Patrick Ewing. They got a Hall of Famer, Chris Mullin. But they still got screwed. And if you remember that lottery, I do. I watched it in college. The first card, Rod Thorne, the Golden State Warriors. Al Addles went, yeah. He goes, no, that means you pick last. Wait, what? Yeah, you're last. And the whole thing about the frozen card, Rod Thorne would put them down and he would feel the one that was freezing in his hands, and he knew to take that last because that was the Knicks. I could see it. So at this meeting, by the way, with the GMs, Silver and the NBA office, with those top 30 executives, reports were from stool pigeons, and they said that Silver was described as forceful with his message. Now, interestingly, the NBA has a senior advisor to basketball operations. It's Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, or Krzyzewski. That's what it should be. And apparently, he delivered a message at the meeting that there should be a prompt, tasteful attack on the problem, and that all involved should be prepared to respond. A tasteful attack. What would a tasteful attack be? You can't wear white pants after Labor Day. You look stunning. You look to die for. Gorgeous. I can't believe she's wearing those pants. I guess that would be a tasteful attack. Something like that. So, Stern. Silver said every possible remedy will be there to combat the problem. Now, earlier yesterday, Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns, and he said tanking is much worse than any prop bet scandal. Wow. I have to disagree with that, but that's how he feels. So the league has noted that, I mean, look, the Jazz, 500,000, the Pacers, 100,000, Snoozerville, right? Do either of those teams are like, oh no, that's what we sold in churros last week? Is anybody going to, are any of those teams going to be like, oh, we're going to have to fire 2 ushers now because of that? Probably not. All right. Swinging things around here mid-segment to the baseball calendar, because today is the opening day at spring training. Most teams will start tomorrow with games, but some teams have games today. Next up on the calendar will be in a couple weeks, March 5th, the World Baseball Classic will begin. And then we'll have opening day March 26th, no longer April Fool's Day, March 26th. Yankees at Giants. I believe it's a Thursday. Then they have no game Friday. This game will be the first ever Major League Baseball game, and this is the only place you can see it. It's on Netflix. Yes, opening day, Yankees at Giants on Netflix. Then MLB in their Mexico series, April 25th. Then the All-Star game, which will be July 14th. The Midsummer Classic. They'll have that Field of Dreams game in the cornfield on August 13th. The playoffs will begin September 29th. I'll never forget when the A's played in that wild card game at Kansas City. And it was the last day of September. What's that, the 30th? 31st? Last day of September. And they were all wearing hoodies that said, always October. And they were the only playoff team that didn't play in October. Anyway, September 29th, playoffs begin. The World Series Game 7, if it gets to Game 7, Halloween. Now, I remember the Giants won the World Series on Halloween when they played at Texas. It wasn't, because I remember I was answering the door for trick-or-treaters when the Giants won that back in 2010. So the baseball calendar is underway, and we can look at, what are the positioning battles, but we are going to be having the ABS, and I'm very excited about it. And that is the automated ball strike system, and it makes use of advanced camera and limb tracking technology to create an individualized strike zone for every batter. This has been going on since 2001. It was completely minor league wide last year. I've seen it in Pioneer League the last couple of years. And the tracking system, and they'll have an interface at the ballpark with an operator to use the correct interface. And apparently the little rectangle that they used to show like video games, they're not going to have that anymore on the screen. So the in-game guidelines, the challenge aspect, 2 challenges per game, which is not enough. They use any time on any pitch, and you keep your challenge if they're successful until you get to 6. Pretty instantaneous. As I've said, I've seen it in action. I have, for 2 games 2 years ago with the Oakland Ballers in the Indy League, Pioneer League, I was doing, I was the PA announcer for all the now batting, number 5, whatever, and I was sitting next to the ABS guy. It's instantaneous. And then I would announce after a challenge, the call is overturned to a ball. Well, that was 3 challenges per game, as many as 6. But the dumb thing is there was always some bonehead, not always, but there was sometimes a bonehead who in the bottom of the second in a one count would challenge and be wrong. It's like, why are you burning a challenge? And it's just like, oh, come on, that was a ball. No, it wasn't. It was a strike. And so you have to hold on to those things like gold because you get rung up to end the game and you can't challenge anymore. That has to be something that you're going to have to take into account. You know, and then you think, well, we have the ABS system, and this pitch was a foot outside because it was Greg Maddux, and now this guy's out, or it's Wade Boggs and he spit on it, so it's automatically a ball, even though it was right down Broadway, right? Well, we have the technology. How come we only get to use it twice? It's like because you'd be challenging every damn pitch. So it should be 3. We'll start off with 2 this year. And I think it'll help. And it'll help the umpires. And maybe they don't like it, but I've seen umpires, they could not care less. They get paid the same, and they're not getting fired. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a break. We'll come on back on Sports Byline.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
You think this is a humorous occasion? You are mistaken.
Rick Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
Well, as the USA men's hockey team is getting ready to take on Slovakia right around noontime here in about an hour Pacific, Canada, they are in the gold medal game. They did late. When the show started, they were down 2-0 to Finland. And I texted my hockey group, and I'm like, it's not looking good. And they're like, oh, McKinnon's kind of not feeling well, and there's Crosby, and they're strong. Well, just looked, and Canada won 3-2. Nathan McKinnon scored the go-ahead goal with 35 seconds left. This is after Shea Theodore tied it midway through the third with a really nice helper from Macklin Celebrini, who, you think about the kid, he played 26 minutes in that game for Canada. And I think that's fantastic. I'm sorry to all my friends from Finland who are listening from Suomi, but, Americans have to keep up their end of the bargain as well, because anybody in this country fired up for Canada versus Slovakia in the gold medal game? The bronze medal game now will be Finland versus the loser of the next one. So I think just like Four Nations and just like in past Olympics, we need America to play Canada in the gold medal game, like the women did yesterday with the Americans bringing it home. All right, another hour to go. Get on back on Sports Byline USA.
Hour two of titillating sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick.
Like the legend of the Phoenix.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. And I gotta say, Filthy Tom Lawler's done a wonderful job filling in for Brian Alvarez this past week on Wrestling Observer Live. Now I'm a little biased because I consider Tom a friend, but he's done a great job. And I guarantee you, from what I know, a movie about that man's life would be a true piece of art. Which leads me to this past Sunday when I saw for the first time The Smashing Machine. I'll assume you've all heard of this movie, which debuted last October. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as former mixed martial artist Mark Kerr, Emily Blunt as his girlfriend Dawn, and Boss Rutan as Boss Rutan. I went out of college visit with my kid and utilized the free HBO Max gimmick at the Marriott. And I'll also say this. The Smashing Machine was not as disturbing as Chernobyl: The Lost Tapes, which I also watched. But it was odd. I don't know, I almost never watch movies, so my knowledge of what's supposed to be good or bad is as limited as it gets. In fact, I think the last movie I watched in full was The Iron Claw about the Von Erich family, which I did think was the best movie based on pro wrestling I've ever seen. Aesthetically, for the most part, I thought The Smashing Machine looked and sounded really good. The use of sound as the mood of a scene began to change was cool, as was the diversity of the soundtrack. Same goes for the colors and how the movie was shot. Unfortunately, Johnson's makeup and attempt at mimicking Kerr's unique lispy speaking voice felt much more like parody than acting, and how the story was told was odd to me as well. For the most part, the movie recreated much of the original documentary itself, but then there were moments that just juxtaposed it completely, such as Rutan being injected with pain medication by Kerr after suffering an injury during training. As someone who watched the original 2002 HBO Smashing Machine documentary that the movie is based on, and followed the sensation of mixed martial arts in Japan in real time, I believe the movie missed the mark in many ways. The biggest to me was explaining anything about Mark Kerr's background and what made him the person we were seeing on the screen. Conversely, one thing the film did get right was the portrayal of Mark Coleman, played by Ryan Bader, whose more intriguing life and humble persona takes over the movie the same way it took over the documentary. So all in all, I guess a thumbs down when it comes to the movie, but if you can ever find a copy of it anywhere, I would definitely suggest checking out the much more raw and gripping Smashing Machine documentary. And if you don't trust my word, ask a fighter and call up Filthy Tom Lawler when he appears on Wrestling Observer Live, the weekday edition, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 4 a.m. in Kuala Lumpur. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
All right, back in the ice box, downtown San Francisco, Broadway, Sports Byline USA. You know, it's interesting. Adam Conover, the comedian, as during the break we left, took the picture, tweeted it out, by the way, at Adam Conover, at Rick Tittle. Facebook page, Tittling Sports, or the Rick Tittle fan page. It's there. But he said, you know, I have a really nice camera that I brought from LA and I was going around San Francisco taking pictures, and I wish I had brought it in here. And I kind of thought, oh, to commemorate our interview? He said, this is the weirdest place I've ever seen. It's like an apocalyptic radio station. I mean, he's not wrong. It is it is hella weird. The reason being is that this used to be as many as 6 radio stations, and there are 6 different studios, and one side of the hall is barely used anymore, but this is also a building where they printed, he's an old print shop where they printed the League of Nations Charter, so it's historic as well. But yeah, a lot of people have come through here, but I mean, apocalyptic, I don't know if I would go that far. It's definitely weird. Yeah, but anyway, thanks, Adam. Appreciate the honesty. 1-800-878-PLAY. You ain't got no alibi. You're ugly. CRN Digital Plus 2, the cable radio network, channel 2, new cable provider, coming through your television set. How about that? 35 million homes, and also Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, Space Force, Delta Force, whatever force you're with. If you're in the military, you're doing a great job. Stay safe, come home soon. Still have not met a Guardian yet. It's like a sailor and a soldier and a Marine and an airman. A Guardian from Space Force. Maybe you are. I'd love to hear. If you're a Guardian, call me up. We got an hour. Get on back.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. It's Friday at 11:12 Pacific time. That means we check in with our friends at Pro Wagering, and on Fridays we'll check in with our good buddy Carmine Marino, who is a horse racing aficionado. Carmine, welcome. And I'm looking around at Oak Lawn Park. I'm looking at the Byron King, the John Battaglia. Which way do you want to go?
Well, we can go to Oak Lawn if you want. We can talk about both of those races.
Let's talk about Oak Lawn, because 9 and 10, those are the big races, and it's going to be a field of 11 fillies in race 9 going 6 furlongs. And right now looking at the number 11, Liuzza. What are you thinking?
Wait a minute here. Oh, that's not a stake race. Okay, I feel better. It's a minor race. It's okay, Liuzza. Okay, we're good. You threw me a curveball, because I was like, I didn't recall that. I didn't recall another stake race. There was one before that. That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't know why they're putting that one front and center here for me. But anyway, well, you know what? Forget that one. How about Byron King? You want to do that one?
Byron King.
That is that's a blood horse. You know what? Forget it. Let's just go to the Battaglia.
8th race at Oak Lawn. That would be the no double breeders.
All right, let's do that one.
You had me going. That was pretty good.
Okay.
You know, Oak Lawn is an interesting track because it with all the weather. And the nicest thing about that track, the best way to bet is you want to bet a horse that has experience over that track, because either likes the surface or doesn't like the surface. And in this race, we have eight horses. And it's a 6 furlong race, which is a sprint. And it's an interesting race because what you're looking at here is about 5 of these horses have won at this track. Maybe 8 of them, 7 of them rather. And it'll be interesting to see where this goes from the perspective of class. They're betting 3 horse Bohemian Bow because he seems to be the now horse with the speed. But I'm looking elsewhere, and I'm looking at a horse that could upset, which would be the 5 horse, Willow Creek Road. And Willow Creek Road didn't have a great year last year. The year before, it hasn't won a race in a couple of years, but this horse seems to be coming into this race at a decent price, and I like Rudy Brissett.
All right, I want to ask you about the John Battaglia Memorial Stakes down at Turfway in Kentucky. It's going to be on the Tapeta Footings track. And a big field. Street Beast is going to be on the pole, 5-2 morning odds. Lots of long shots in this one. I know Full Effort, the number 11 horse, is getting some love, and maybe 2 Out Hero at 12. Otherwise, how are you looking at the Battaglia?
Well, when you look at a Turfway, you need a dart. You throw it against the wall, close your eyes tight, hope it lands on the right horse, because this is long shotville. And in this race, I happen to like a couple horses that are not necessarily
fair in price. They're at 8-1 or better. The 9 horse, Stop the Car, trained by Brendan Walsh. He's having a great year so far. This seems like a nice animal. Another horse I'm looking at is the 2, 15-1, which is Steel Imperium, with the other Machado on him. And Karamori is the trainer. This horse is 1-for-1 in his life in his first start back in February, earlier this month. He won the race coming off the pace. I think these are 2 nice price horses that have a legitimate chance.
When you look at Stop the Car, as you mentioned, 8-1, Edgar Morales in the Silks, Brendan Walsh, the trainer, won his first 2 starts, finished 7th in the Lecomte, but never been on Tapeta. If people don't know what that is, that's the artificial surface, so it's not dirt or grass. But when you think about a horse that's never been on Tapeta, does that concern you, or do you think, it would be fine?
Well, sometimes you have to look at the pedigree of a horse. Like you look at the 7 horse Hatfield as the pedigree for the turf. They say the turf and the Tapeta are very similar. That's a horse you can look at, Thomas Morley. But in this horse, Stop the Car, I'm going based upon the fact that Walsh is on fire. He's a 17% trainer on synthetic overall. I think this horse is in a good spot to have tactical speed and make a move. I'm looking at price. I mean, when you're looking at 5-2 or 8-5, what are we going to do that for in a race that's wide open? And at this track, you have to look for price, because if you're looking for favorites, you're going to go broke.
That 12 horse 2-out hero, Kevin Attard horse with Rafael Hernandez in the mount, finished 3rd in a Grade 1 turf stakes at Woodbine, but when it was on Tapeta in its debut, 2-out hero won by 12 lengths. The concern here is being way out at 12. So a lot of times I think at 12, you need the speed early to get into a good position. What do you think about a horse like that who's good on Tapeta but is way out at 12?
Well, I mean, I don't know how great this horse is yet. I mean, it's his first start since September. That's the reason why I haven't really given him the nod. He has speed to get into position. The question is conditioning. He's got a couple decent workouts on February 7th. Kevin Attard, obviously trained at Windsor, knows Tapeta. He's a 16% trainer there as well. This horse may be more bred for turf than he is the Tapeta, but he's a nice horse. He'll be in striking position. The 12th position does not scare me at all if the horse is right.
I mentioned Street Beast, 5-2. Ben Colebrook trained Luan Machado, the jockey, and basically on the rail. And they said with his speed that they don't think anybody's going to catch him. Your thoughts?
If he can get loose on the front end by himself, I would have to say, any horse, speed kills. But I think Ace's Honor is going to get out there with him. He seems to be a type of horse that can go to the front. I think you're going to see your 12 horse try to press a little bit and also the 5 horse, which is Baytown Dreamer, has reflected some early speed and is more of a turf horse, not on the dirt. A lot of these horses are coming out of bigger races, which would be the Southwest, the Lecomte. So they're tried and seasoned. The problem is, are they seasoned to race on the surface? And then you have to look at the 4 horse, Kilo Tango, another Brad Cox horse, who, by the way, his first 2 starts mediocre. Then he breaks his cherry on the turf at Turfway on the Tapeta and wins in a nice race and has a hot jockey in Dela Cruz.
Last question for you, and this is going to be perhaps a dumb question, but I'll ask it anyway. The number 3 horse, Maximus Prime, is a 30-1, has had 7 races, never finished top 3, still a maiden. So can you make money off of a horse that never finishes in the money?
No. That's
pretty good. I said it might be a dumb question.
That's like saying, can I make money betting on a quarterback who can't throw a football?
All right. I thought it might be dumb because I thought maybe sometimes you get money just for entering the race. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
No. That would happen only if you're being asked to run at a $10 million race or 5 around the world. They pay all your expenses and they guarantee you so much money. But in this particular race here, the Battaglia, you got to wonder why Maximus Prime is even in this race. But people have delusions of grandeur all the time.
There he is, Carmine Marino, always bringing it strong. Carmine, a clunky start on my part, but finished strong. Appreciate it as always. Pro wagering. Have a good weekend, bud.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll come on back with open lines at 1-800-878-PLAY.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097. Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
I'm a pretty normal guy. I do one weird thing. I like to go in the women's room for number 2. I've been caught several times and I have paid dearly.
Rick Tittle never eats beef jerky during any month that ends in Vember.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on American Forces Radio Network. Coming up in the next segment, Daniel Roebuck. If you Google him, you'll go, oh, that guy. Like I did. So the World Cup is coming to North America. most of the games will be played in the United States, but there will be games played in Mexico and Canada. And so every team, every country has to have a place where they're going to be headquartered, and they need good practice facilities and such things. And so these teams are making their official announcements of where they're going to be centered. Now, it makes sense to be near where you're going to be playing most of your games, obviously. But I remember back in '94 when I worked the World Cup here, Cameroon was based in Lafayette. They were at the Lafayette Park Hotel, and they trained at St. Mary's College, my alma mater. When Brazil was here, they were based in Los Gatos. They basically took over Los Gatos, and they practiced at Los Gatos High School, which had a couple of nice fields. So I just want to give you some of, and I need to look up some of this stuff too, because it's a lot of this stuff doesn't just roll off the tongue. But I was looking some of the places where these teams now have announced where they're going to be. Mexico will be at the Centro de Alto Rendimiento. So they're going to be at their normal place. Why wouldn't they be? USC is going to be at Great Park in Irvine. That's down in Orange County. Canada will be at their National Soccer Development Center, Vancouver. Germany will be at Wake Forest University. That's pretty cool. If you're going to Wake, you're going to have the Germans there. Well, it will be summer. South Korea will be in Guadalajara at the Chivas practice facility. Colombia will also be in Guadalajara. They'll be at Atlas. Both Liga MX teams. Chivas is the big one in Guadalajara. Atlas is kind of the other team. Uruguay will be at the Fairmont Mayacoba. The Fairmont Mayacoba. And by the way, we're still, as I said, we're waiting to see who the other teams are. So they can't announce where they're going until they actually make the World Cup. That'd be a little bit of a jinx. I think you agree. But the Fairmont Mayacoba is in La Ciudad de Mexico. So right in Mayacoba sounds Japanese, but it's actually right in downtown. Actually, no, I take that back. They're going to be at Playa del Carmen. Wow, that's a resort. I was at the wrong Mayacoba. The Fairmont Mayacoba is in Playa del Carmen. That is a beautiful place on the Gulf of America. The Gulf of Mexico. France has announced that they will be at Babson College. Now, remember, France is going to be wearing their secondary kit, kind of a copper-stained green, because that is going to be a tribute to the Statue of Liberty. France is at Babson College, which is in Babson Park, Massachusetts, and so a little bit away from the scene. Brazil will be at the New York Red Bulls facility. Spain will be headquarters at the Baylor School. So the first thing I thought of was, is that not Baylor, Texas? Baylor University? And it is not. The Baylor School is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So that's where Spain will be. Argentina will be at Compass Minerals NPC. You just wonder how sponsors get involved, and you got to come here, you got to go there. So I have to look up Compass Minerals NPC. Where could that possibly be? It is called the National Performance Center and the Jewel of Sporting Kansas City. And they won't be the only team in Kansas City. I'll get to that in a minute. But yes, Sporting Kansas City, the Compass Minerals National Training Center. England will be at Swope Soccer Village. Swope Soccer Village is also in Kansas City, and that has 6 soccer fields. So Kansas City bringing in 2 of the big teams, Argentina, the defending champs, and England. Netherlands will also be in Kansas City. They'll be at the KC Current facility. That is the Women's League. Algeria, Rock Park, obviously, Tennessee. Panama will be at Nota Wasaga. Nota Wasaga. Now, if you know what that is, kudos to you. Had to look up what Wasaga was for the Panamanians. And Nota Wasaga is in Ontario. Alliston, Ontario. So they're going to be in Canada. And so you think, oh, that must be a First Nations word. Croatia. Now, I love this because Croatia announced, we will be at Episcopal High School. Like, okay, what state? I think they forget how big America is. Like when you say Episcopal High School, it's like saying Harvard. Now, Episcopal High School is in Alexandria, so they're going to be in Washington, D.C. Area. Japan will be at Vanderbilt. We know what that is. Curacao will be at Florida Atlantic. Switzerland announced that they would be at SDJA. And I thought, South Dakota, no, it's the San Diego Jewish Academy. So they're going to be based there. Ghana will be at Bryant University. It's really amazing when you think about all these places that these teams are going that you'd never think of. But then again, why would you think Brazil would have gone to Los Gatos last time? Bryant University is in Smithfield, Rhode Island. So they probably have a Boston match or two. Norway will be at UNC Greenboro. South Africa will be at Pachuca in Mexico. Qatar will be at Westmount College. And Austria will be at CSB, the Gauchos, Isla Vista, University of California, Santa Barbara. Tunisia will be at the Monterey facility. That's Monterey 2R, so the Mexican team. Saudi Arabia will be in Austin at the QT Stadium. Portugal, I like their announcement. They just said Miami. Very good. Ecuador will be at the Columbus Crew facility, obviously the capital of Ohio. Scotland will be at Charlotte FC. It's great in North Carolina. I promise to be a good girl. And saving the best for last, the Socceroos, the Aussies, will be in Oakland. They will be at the Roots and Soul training facilities. And, of course, as soon as that came out, people were like, better bring your flak jacket. You better not park your car anywhere near there. And then, of course, Oakland haters loved hearing the news that yesterday the mayor of Oakland, Barbara Lee, had her car stolen from City Hall. It's not funny, but it's great. It's great ammunition for people who say that's a crap hole. When Brazil came to Los Gatos in '94, fans, bung bung bungy bung bungy bung 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 bungy bung bungy bung. That's exactly how it sounded nonstop. And I went to a lot of their events and their games. I went to 3 of their games, and they took over the Town and Country Mall, which is right across Palo Alto from the stadium. On the other side of the street is Pali High. Just take over the whole thing, and the samba music was nonstop. But they said that there was a caravan that was over 4 miles long that drove from Brazil to the Bay Area. And I just thought, wow, honky-tonk freeway. 4-mile-long caravan of cars. Bong, bong, bongy, bong, bongy, bong. Panama, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Mexico. Bong, bong, bongy, bong, bongy, bong. I just wonder if anyone in Brazil is like, will you turn that crap down? I can't even hear myself think. Bong, bong, bongy, bong, bongy, bong. Bong, bong, bongy, bong, bongy, bong. Bong, bong, bongy, bong, bongy, bong.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting, would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts, focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
I honestly just got the chills as you described it again for me.
You must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, nationally syndicated and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There's a brand new movie coming out next Friday entitled The Hail Mary, and it has been written, directed, and stars our guest, veteran actor Daniel Roebuck. Daniel, welcome to the show. And before we get into it, when it's your baby like that, you have complete control. I guess it's a double-edged sword because the freedom of not having to ask permission for anything, but then again, it's all on you if it doesn't work. So there's some sleepless nights.
Yeah, Rick, it's just like having a kid. You know, if you got to go to the principal's office, you're like, oh, this is bad for me. You know, yeah, it's an interesting thing but I'll tell you, Rick, the blessing is I don't have woke Hollywood telling me what to do and how to do it. So I get to tell a story like an old-fashioned way, like people want to hear.
And the story is about a bitter, isolated man whose life is quietly transformed when he's reluctantly recruited to coach a struggling football team. Now, this kind of hits home with me. I went to a Catholic high school and a Catholic college.
Oh.
I played football at both, and I actually coached at my alma mater, which is in a not a rich area of the Bay Area, Richmond, California. By the way, a hometown of Alyssa Liu, gold medal yesterday. Shout out, Alyssa.
And can I say hometown of Terry Brown, one of my best friends for my entire life. Terry Brown. Met him in Hollywood in 1984.
Wow. Let's see, you're a couple years older than me. Did he go to Kennedy High, or where is he from?
Oh, I don't know where he went. His father-in-law owned a tire, I think a truck tire store. So I don't know where he went to high school. We met right after that. We literally met when we were both 20. But a great guy, and I spent a lot of time up there when we did Nash Bridges. Big fan of the area.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so you were saying you coached?
So I was a football coach with some knuckleheaded kids who were, and so I wasn't I was in my 20s. I was right out of college. But for this character, tell us about the guy that you're playing in The Hail Mary, Daniel.
Yeah. So Jake Bauer, this character is man. He is lost. When I say down and out, the very first time you see him in the movie, he falls down. He falls out of the camera. He is down and out and struggling with a lot of self-hatred and disbelief in a higher power. And he runs face to face into the force of nature, Sister Kathleen, who won't take no for an answer. So, it's like a buddy comedy. Over the course of the movie, she gets him to do exactly what she wants, and what she wants is to lead him toward his own salvation.
I'm going to guess that you're also Catholic.
I am Catholic, although, Rick, honest to God, I think the movie, and I know because I've been doing a lot of interviews, Jewish fellow earlier, but I make these movies so this one's through a Catholic lens, and look, you've been there, so there's nothing as specific as a Catholic education. It's not like anything else. People say, why do you do it? And I say, 98% of the kids who go to Catholic school go to college. 98%. In California, 64% of the kids who graduate from public school can't read or write at an 8th grade level. So, you make your choices. I made the same choice for my kids. But although through the lens of a Catholic school, anybody of any faith is going to get this story because it's a story about, trusting, finally giving over to God. And, whichever God it is your God, just at least admitting that you're not the center of the universe is step one,
Yeah. So for you, like, my school was all boys, and, it wasn't a lot of fun. Sports-wise, it was great. I did get educated. At the time, I kind of felt sorry for myself because all my friends were going to the public school with the pretty girls and everything.
Right.
So for you, what was it like? I mean, there was hazing and things. So for you in a Catholic school in Pennsylvania in the 70s, there was probably a little bit of that going on too, right?
No, I'm not discounting. No, not at all. Not at all. But, you know, my son Buster, he ended up at St. Francis in La Cañada. He went to an all-boys Catholic high school for sports. He was a heck of a football player. And my daughter chose to go to an all-girls Catholic school. And they were given the choice of any Catholic school in our area, and they both chose like that. No, we went to a co-ed school. No hazing or anything like that. And I didn't play. I was playing football until 8th grade. I was definitely scouted for high school, but I found the theater, Rick, unfortunately, between 8th grade and high school. And once I found the theater and I saw the girls changing in front of me, you know, I'm not a pervert, but I'm also not an idiot. You know, I knew that the theater was where I belonged because there would be no girls in the locker rooms of my high school. But you know, I look, this movie, The Love Letter to the Nuns. We had great nuns, same nuns throughout, the same group of sisters of St. Joseph, Philadelphia, through the entirety of my education. And these nuns, they knew I was going to Hollywood. They knew I was not going to the moon in the space capsule. They knew I did not need to know geometry and algebra. And they kind of protected me away from it, to be honest with you.
You know, I think a lot of people, when they think about your role in The Fugitive and some, you know, Nash Bridges, you've been in so many things. The thing I wanted to ask you about, because I really like this movie, because I love late night TV, is The Late Shift.
Oh, yeah, great movie.
Yeah, you're playing Jay Leno, and Kathy Bates as your agent Helen, who just has you under her thumb until you finally say, "Will you shut up?" But the way you played Jay Leno, it was a very, it was a character that really got a lot of sympathy because it was like, "Oh, okay, Helen, whatever you say." That was, I remember Letterman said, "Look, they got John Michael Higgins throwing baseballs at an archery target. I never did that." I mean, there was some a little bit of pushback on that too.
Well, from John, look. David Letterman should have gotten up in the morning and gotten on his knees and thanked God that they had an actor as talented as John Michael Higgins playing him. That's what I think. Look, I got to play the nice guy, and I've had no problem being verbal about this. You know, there was a David Letterman camp, the Jay Leno camp. Well, what did we learn over the course of time? Here's Jay Leno at his wife's side as the poor thing is, you know, affected by dementia and Alzheimer. And what did David Letterman turn out to be? He was always on one side politically, but then, you know, he was sued for trying to have sex with interns. I mean, he was just a hypocrite. I've never liked Letterman. I think he's a hypocrite. And he should have... John Michael Higgins is such a great actor. And you know, Jay Leno couldn't have been nicer to me after the movie. In fact, I produced an animated Christmas movie that I put Kathy Bates in as the villain, and he narrated it for me. You know, he's such a good guy. He's a great guy.
So, yeah, well, just one more thing. When you're walking down the street, all the characters, and I'm sure, like I said, some of the stuff we remember you in, but do you ever, you're walking down the street, someone's like, "Hey, weren't you Marty and only you?" And you're like, "Oh, I guess I was."
So, no, listen to me. It is a weird thing, the actor's life, because you never know what sticks with people. And there's this other thing that happens that you never know how far and wide it goes. One time, Dwayne Whitaker, my buddy who's in the Hail Mary with me, and he was in Pulp Fiction. He played Maynard, one of the guys who own a pawn shop. We're walking down Hollywood Boulevard. Two Japanese people stop. They point at me, and they say something in Japanese, and then they say Daniel Roebuck, and then they say something in Japanese, and we acknowledge it. I take pictures, I sign some autographs, and Whitaker said, if there's anything as critical mass, we may have just experienced it. He goes, where they're from another country, they don't know the language, but they know your name. And so you never know how far and wide you go. I literally stepped out of the tunnel of the plane in Buenos Aires. I could have been in Buenos Aires for more than 0.2 seconds, and a guy, he comes over to me and he says, "I love you," in Lost in broken English, and we take a picture.
Wow.
You just never know.
Wow. That's
but
great.
Marty from Only You, I would be surprised, but you never know. That guy's out there somewhere.
All right, before we let you go, the Hail Mary, when you have nothing else to lose, as I'm mentioning, opening next Friday. Oh, it's opening actually tomorrow. You're going to be there in Lehigh Valley for the premiere.
Yeah,
but
we have a big premiere tomorrow, but then it'll open around the country on the 27th.
What would you like people, outside of being a compelling, entertaining movie, what would you like people to take away from this movie, if there is a message to it?
Well, I hope there's a message. I hope the movie does the job of telling you the message. But look, we're all struggling. Everybody struggles, and we just don't. Even the people who seem to be doing well, they might be struggling. So, if nothing else, I'd say that person who disappoints you in life, who may have something else going on, or she, maybe this movie will give you another 10 minutes to consider that before you judge them.
Written, directed, and starring our guest, Daniel Roebuck, The Hail Mary. Daniel, great stuff. Thanks for coming on, and hopefully we'll catch up down the road.
I love that, and thank you to all your listeners for their service. We are grateful.
All right, good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. Let's take a break, and we'll come on back on Titillating Sports.
Tell me who's watching? Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me is it just a dream? When I come home at night.
Okay, let's one. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our Better Blue Pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. 120 Better Blue Pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steelman Pills right now and get the Better Blue Pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs and alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. It's 800-219-2494.
And by the way, can I just say, Rick, that Rick Tittle is one of the great names of all time.
Don't be getting your granny panties all in a bunch. We got Rick Tittle up in here.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. The Florida Senate has passed the Teddy Bridgewater bill to allow high school coaches to pay for athlete benefits. There was an incident where Teddy Bridgewater, the former NFL quarterback, was suspended from high school coach, and the Teddy Bridgewater bill allows them now, the coaches, to use personal funds to provide financial assistance to their players as long as they report it. So the Florida High School Athletic Association suspended Bridgewater in September because he had given athletes some money. He was coaching Miami Northwestern, and he actually ended up signing with the Buccaneers as to be their emergency quarterback. But Northwestern suspended Bridgewater because he revealed in a social media post that he spent $700 a week on Uber rides for his players. And then he said that he also bought team-branded clothing. He paid for some recovery-related expenses at the combined cost of about $27,000. And so now that this bill becomes law, that will mean that Florida will be permitted to make personal expenditures, as I said, as long as you report it. Bridgewater said right before he signed with the Bucs, "I'm protective and I'm a father first before anything. And when I decided to coach, those players became my sons. And I wanted to make sure that I just protected them in the best way that I can. I think that's what it came about."